Now give the call to the member for Lingiari.
Thank you, Speaker. My question is to the Prime Minister. Earlier today, you gave a statement on closing the gap. How will a voice to Parliament help to achieve the objectives of closing the gap? And what work has been done on the structure of the voice?
Give the call to the Prime Minister.
Thanks very much, and I thank the member for Lingiari for her question, and most importantly, I thank her for her services for remote communities, in particular in the Northern Territory, in her now electorate, but also as a former minister in the Northern Territory government. She brings a great deal of experience and honour to this House. Mr Speaker, this morning I heard an extraordinary interview by another great Indigenous Australian, one who has been honoured in this House by being the first Indigenous Minister for Indigenous Affairs, Ken Wyatt, the former member of this House. And in that, Ken Wyatt addressed very directly the suggestion that somehow there was no detail when it came to the Voice for Parliament and the link between a Voice for Parliament and practical reconciliation in closing the gap, something that Ken Wyatt was very passionate about. In it, he said a range of things. Mr Wyatt spoke about there being 4 pages. He said this: if people read them, they would understand the detail. It's pages 15 to 19, which spells out the principle-based approach, the scope, how it does work in practice and what are the steps we need to get there, and then the relationship with government which doesn't impinge on the sovereignty of the Australian Parliament. He was talking about this, the Indigenous Voice co-design process, the final report to the Australian Government of July 2021. He went on to say, now I took this report to Cabinet twice, not once, but twice. In it, he referred to the pages that outline the principles-based framework for local and regional voice. How does this work in practice? The national voice overview, the structures and principles which are there between pages 15 to 19, and I table those pages of the government report that was developed by, of course, Tom Calma and Marcia Langton. They were, of course, commissioned by the former government. It reported to the former government. It is 280 pages of detail. 280 pages of detail about how the voice will operate. And what's more is that it arose from the 2018 Joint Select Committee on Constitutional Recognition relating to Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people's final report, where there are clear recommendations in that report. It was a bipartisan report.
Order.
We have had this process for a long period of time. It's time we advance this project.